Welcome to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. In this segment, Pat and James tell the AI lynch mob to take a pause. There's a much greater than zero chance that accusations of AI use by creatives are false positives from faulty AI detection. Hey, Pat.
Yes, James.
You know, I feel very comfortable in our meetings that I am dealing with the literal, true, real Pat. You are not an AI mirage.
I am not an AI mirage. I have, obviously. Ha 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 ha.
You know.
There's some AI people. What do you call them? I don't know. Mirages on social media where it's this fucking hot body woman who says, I'm 55 and this is what I do. And it's like, they all look the same, right? You can tell it's AI. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not one of those.
yeah. Or like the older hot guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Got like a weird sort of full beard kind of thing.
They're just so obvious.
Yeah. I know, they are obvious. Imagine seeing an AI mirage arrive at a party. Everybody would be like, that's not real.
No,
I do not believe that person is real.
No, and the other part is that, that person thinks they're cool, obviously, because look at the smirk. Like they're so annoying, they're so unlikable, actually. I don't know who develops these schmucks, but they're doing a terrible job.
Yeah, nobody sits at the lunch table with them, They're loners. They're loners feeling cool in their own world.
Yeah. And we could think of them in the teaching staff room too, and they're also sitting in the table by themselves. Everybody else is like over on the cool side of the room going, what a weirdo. Look at that.
And all the other teachers are like, fucking know it all.
Why do they keep saying the same thing over and over?
Yeah. So anyway, there's a reason why I mentioned that. And recently, there was a story that I think some people, maybe a lot of people, have seen where a publisher withdrew, I think, a 6-figure advance for a writer because they said, we've determined that there's significant AI usage in that manuscript.
Is this a second one? Because there was one a few months ago, or is this the same one?
I think there was a more recent one.
Okay, I think you're right. Yeah, a different book. Yeah,
and so there's that. And when I talk to other friends of mine who, writers are just talking about AI, there's this kind of growing paranoia that if we create from our own voice, and I say create because I think, visual artists are probably worried about the same things. People putting out movies, all those kinds of things. So it's not just writers, but if I create from my own voice, is my voice going to get picked up by some AI detecting application?
Yeah.
And I'm going to get accused of having used AI.
Yeah, because there are like high false positives in the ones for writing, in the AI detection applications for writing. I don't think all of them are like that, but a good percentage of them say you're using it when you're not, and then say you're not using it if you are. There's this post I read on Substack, I'll link to it in the show notes, where she wrote the entire post with AI, said this is written with AI. She's actually quitting Substack, and then she ran it through a detection app, and they said, oh no, this is human written. And she's like,
really?
They don't even get that right,
Wow. Yeah. So wow, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Then at the same time, when I go into comments, right, so for a news story about this kind of stuff, there's always tons of comments from people that are it's like a lynch mob kind of mentality.
Yeah.
They're like, haha, you got caught.
Right.
Let's cancel this person because now they're using AI and these kinds of things. And it feels to me that it's important, one, to acknowledge that this is a real anxiety and probably one that we should feel around AI. I don't think this is some, people are overstating this as an AI issue. And I think too, we really need to suspend judgment in a big way when these stories come out.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know the particulars of the publisher and what they think they detected or actually detected or not. But where I'm at now is I am more willing to lean toward that writer who's saying I didn't use AI,
Hmm.
that other creative who said, no, I did not use AI,
Yeah.
than I am to the accuser. I want to see the evidence. I want to see why you think, that person used AI.
Yeah.
And one of the core things that I think about this, and this may betray a little, sort of naivete about it, how AI works, but it seems that since these models are learning off of human examples,
Yeah.
that they're going to have, it may not be the way that everybody writes, and it may be very identifiable, but it also may be the way that some people write, and it's
Yeah.
actually their literal voice,
Yeah.
or the way they create, and it's their little literal creative voice.
Yeah, because they're scraping the internet for all of this content, right? They don't care where they get it. They don't care who put it up or who's got the
Mhm.
copyright on it. They're just using everything and being fed books. So of course they're going to sound like some humans, I think. I mean, it would
Yeah.
be weird if they didn't, because that means they're more sophisticated than they actually are. They're not very, sure they're sophisticated. Don't get me wrong. I couldn't do it,
Yeah.
but the point is they're not able to create anything themselves. They can't really create. They can only
Hmm.
aggregate and then respit out in a certain shape. In
Hmm.
my opinion, what do I know? Um, so I 100% agree that there's a danger that any writer and probably many visual artists and others, cartoonists, that kind of stuff, could be accused of using AI when they haven't. Um, I'm writing, do I personally fear an accusation of having used AI? No, because I'm chump change. Nobody gives a shit, right? So if I
Hmm.
had a six-figure book deal, maybe I
Yeah.
would be a little more afraid. But I'm not, you know. Fuck
Yeah.
you. Whatever you think, whatever you want, douchebag.
Yeah. Fuck you all.
That's my oppositional defiance disorder kicking in. Um, I
Well.
I do I do think it's at the beginning of any disruptive technology, there's this weird freak out by
Mhm.
everybody. And I am against AI because of the environmental shit and because it's owned by fucking oligarchs who don't give a shit about anybody. So those two reasons are enough for me to be against it. I don't personally use it because it's too much, it's too time consuming. I mean, I have
Mhm.
I have tried it out. Obviously, I don't use it for editing clients' work because it's in my contract that I will not feed their
Yeah.
stuff into any form of AI, and I don't. And I don't even feed their idea. Like I just don't use it. I don't touch it. I still use macros for stuff, and who cares, right? The point
Mhm.
is, every time I've tried it on my own behalf, it's turned out to be hollow inside. Like I thought it
Yeah.
would be able to aggregate my blog posts and then go, here's 5 book ideas. Well, I took a closer look and they're shit, right? They're not the book I would write.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're just dumb. They're like everything else out
Yeah.
there, Not no shade to everything else out there, but they are just a copy with hollowness inside. It's also got fantasy thinking. They made up stuff that I didn't write,
Yeah.
and I said only use this as your source material, stuff I wrote. So I find it so pointless that I don't worry about personally using
Yeah.
it and my own work. So I don't want to say
Yeah.
pointless, but so unimportant that I don't worry about being accused. However, I understand that this lynch mob mentality is dangerous for creatives who are struggling to survive at the best of times. Even the mid-level ones. If you're making a living off your writing, then you have done something great. Because most of the time you're doing other work as well in order to be able to
Mhm.
afford to do your art. And
Yeah.
so I pity those people who are getting lambasted and have their big successful publishing contract pulled but because the publisher believes more in the faulty detection system. If that's my view, I don't know for sure what's going
If
on.
that's the case, yeah.
Yeah, than they do in the writer who says, no, I didn't use it. So
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
here's a question for you. Because I have the same I'm more in favor of AI when it's used in very specific instances. Like its ability to speed the rate of discovery for medical research is huge, right?
okay,
So,
yeah.
all for that kind of thing. But, here's a question. You're about to do another, what is it, the 48-hour novel writing
72 hours, 3 days. Yeah.
3-day writing novel writing contest, and
Yeah.
then you're working through your manuscript for your novel.
Yeah.
How about you get to one of those where you're sending out the novel, or you've written this thing, and they say, you know what, this is AI, we're
Oh,
not going to accept it.
I'll just blow it off. I mean, I don't care. If they actually if I'm saying it's not AI and they don't believe me, I don't want them to be my publisher anyway.
Yeah. Well, there may be points where it's preventing access to
Oh, sure.
legitimate works of art.
Yeah, and I get that. I think it's a problem for other people, really. I mean, for other artists, because I don't care if anybody accesses my shit. I really, I should. I understand that I should care, but at this point in my life, I'm like, I don't have a career trajectory. I mean, I'm not hoping to hit the big time. So, so what, right? If somebody at a publishing house emails me and said, geez, the AI detector came up with saying your shit is AI, and I write back and say, well, I didn't use AI, so what do you want to do now? And they write back and say, well, the detector says you did use AI, then I'm just going to say, well, go your own way. Thank you very much. I'll,
Yeah.
I'll approach other publishers. Good luck with your
How,
list.
s- how strong?
Huh?
How strong?
I'm a
You
strong
know,
person. Also, I just don't feel the stakes are super high with that kind of stuff. I just don't.
yeah.
Not for me because I'm a low level, right? Or mid level. But um, if I had already gone out and bought a Lamborghini on the strength of my six-figure publishing contract, which we both know is absolute bullshit because you get it split up into it took you 10 years to write the fucking book or five or whatever, and then you get your advances split up and it's all contingent on other stuff and your agent gets a cut, so it's maybe 20 grand a year, 30 grand a year, whatever. Uh, it's not about the money at that point, although who wouldn't like another 20 or 30 grand a year? It's the part where you're being unjustly accused. And I think
Yeah.
that is the part that would really, really bother me if it act like I'm talking smack right now because I'm saying it's unlikely to happen, A, and if it does, they can,
Mhm.
they can sit on their thumb. But the thing is, if it actually did happen, I'd probably be enraged. That would be a three martini night. I would just
Yeah.
I'd be venting all over the place because it's unfair. And I used to have this thing it really would bother me when people would misunderstand me.
Yeah.
Like when I would make a statement, you know, or a suggestion, and then they would misinterpret it, and I would feel like, oh, they didn't get me. Now they are going to think this about me. And I don't feel that way as much anymore about other
Yeah.
people. I don't, whatever.
I agree, but getting to the point where you've gotten a publisher, you've probably already gotten to the point where you've been sending it out and you've been
Yeah.
doing a lot of work
Yeah,
into
totally.
just trying to get it out there,
Oh,
maybe
absolutely.
agent, and then all of a sudden you get this false accusation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be enraging, and for me, it would be a three Virgin Caesars night.
Actually, there is a bigger problem now that you say that because, okay, you've pitched a bunch of people. You might have had agents fighting over it, not fighting over it. What do they call that? A competitive
Nope.
bidding situation. You've gone with a particular agent. They've put it out, possibly to auction if it was six figures. You've gotten a, a particular publisher. Then it goes sideways because they think you did something that you're saying you didn't do. And then your name is mud. And
Yep.
that could affect the rest of your writing life. You could try under a pseudonym, but those can get found out.
Mhm.
Your agent might dump you if they don't believe
Yeah.
you. Um, the considering how hard it is to get a big deal like that, a big six-figure publishing deal, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Unless
Or even a small three-figure publishing deal.
oh yeah, it's never easy. Um,
It's,
yeah, so considering all that, to have it publicly blow up where they felt confident enough in their detection software that they were willing to publicly,
Right.
what is it, slander or libel? I don't know. They're
Yeah.
willing to say that they can prove that it was
Yeah. It's
AI. Well,
it's
I
a
don't know what
form
they're
of
using to prove
canceling,
it. Huh?
right? Well, it's a form of canceling somebody because
Yeah.
nobody's going to pick them up after that.
No, exactly. Nobody's going to pick them up.
Okay.
Nobody's going to believe them. If the publisher
And
didn't believe them, who else would?
yeah, and
And
for
I
our
wonder. Hmm?
well, just for our creative adjacent work too, if a
Yeah.
client goes off and somebody says, "Hey, I think this is AI,"
Yeah.
um, you know, yeah, I mean, and that's why I'm saying, the lynch mob kind of thinking the like, "Ooh, there you go for using this evil AI" kind of attitude. I really think people need to take another thought. Um,
They need to verify whether AI was even used because
yeah,
they're jumping on somebody who hasn't been proven guilty, you
yeah,
know? Not that there's, like you can use AI if you want to. If you want to take the risk of getting caught, that's fine, right? Because now there's this
sure.
weird dichotomy between publishers are using it in-house to edit books. I know this for a fact because I know somebody who works in a publisher who
Ah,
uses AI. And
ah,
the so it's hypocritical then
yeah,
to say, oh yeah, we can use it, but you can't use it. And if
yeah.
we catch you using it or think we caught you using it, we're going to cancel everything. And then the problem too is that you know, there's no meaningful recourse because once your name is out there as having done something questionable, regardless of whether it's true or not, your name is out there because people think
Yep,
there's no smoke without fire, right? These adages are
yep,
adages because that's how people think.
yeah.
They are ready to jump on other people.
Oh, it lives forever. It's
Hmm.
zombie facts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
And so then
that
you're contacting a reputation launderer and paying them 100 grand to get your name out of the internet. But it's still publishing is a small world, especially
mhm,
the movers and shakers in New York, they're not they're all in each other's pockets from what I can figure
yeah.
out. So um
I think that's
you're
true
done.
for every creative domain too.
Yeah.
The art world has it's big but it's small.
Yeah.
Acting, it's big but it's small.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So the part that bothers me, okay, so if this writer can somehow prove that they didn't use AI and then they take the publisher to court, will that even get in the news? And who's going to take a fucking publisher to
right.
court? Those people have deep pockets, right? So there's nothing you can do. Once you've been tarred, you're done. And that's a shame because it's premature. The tech is unreliable. The false positives are all over the place. False negatives are all over the place. There's just nowhere to
Mhm,
land that's a safe place for the creative
mhm.
people.
Yeah. So we're in that I remember when the internet came out, people were using the internet in the same way because they had access.
Yeah.
The internet wasn't creating things, but they had access to things that other people had created that weren't common before
Yeah.
that. And so students were going and pulling off, research papers that weren't theirs and, all that kind of stuff. And it took a while for things to kind of get caught up. And
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
I don't think completely have, but we're
Yeah.
definitely in that zone with AI where boy, do we gotta get caught up.
Yeah.
And you're right, the data centers, there's got to be an environmental solution ASAP for that, and or some solution ASAP. And for these accusations and determining what is, what isn't, and then laws around the use of there's so much catching up to do.
Yeah, it's steamrolled out of the womb with no doctors there to catch it, and now it's a feral baby running around biting ankles and leaving piles of shit everywhere, and you know,
Yeah.
it's gonna get big really fast, bigger.
Yeah, it's time to boil the diapers, people.
Boil the baby for fuck's sake, but we're not allowed. So okay, well, good chat.
Yeah, great chat. Okay, goodbye. I'm running away. Thanks for listening to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. We're still looking for listeners to send their pitches for listener profiles to us. We'd love to feature you on an episode of Gifted Underachievers and have it be a running dialogue with our listeners. We'd love to get the word out about all of you. If you're interested, please send us a brief pitch about what you're doing, new projects, websites, or just about you to giftedunderachievers5, that's numeral 5, at gmail.com. Again, we want to do some listener profiles. We're looking for you. Send your pitch to giftedunderachievers5 at gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you like to download your podcasts. And as always, please have an awesome day.